So every generation thinks they figured out money. Your grandparents built wealth through real estate. Your parents told you to max out your retirement accounts. Millennials went all in on index funds. And now Gen Z is like, why not just do all of it? But somehow, everyone is still arguing about the same thing: stocks versus real estate. And honestly, that's not even the real issue. There's one mistake every generation keeps making, and it has nothing to do with which one you pick. And once you see it, you're not going to look at investing the same way again. All right, here's what we're doing. First, I'm going to show you what each generation actually did with their money and why it made sense at the time. Then we'll look at the real numbers, not opinions, actual math. And then I'll show you the one thing that actually determines which one wins, for your life, not your parents. Let's start with boomers. They were buying houses when prices were, honestly, kind of ridiculous compared to today. Like, a home could cost a couple years of salary. So yeah, they bought early, held for decades, and watched prices double, triple, even more. Of course they believe real estate is the best investment ever. For them, it worked perfectly. Then you've got Gen X. They saw both sides. Some people made great money in real estate, and others got completely wrecked. Savings and loan crisis, dot-com crash, 2008. So their mindset is way more cautious. They don't fully trust any one thing. Then millennials. They came into adulthood right as the housing market collapsed. So naturally, they didn't trust real estate at all. Instead, they put money into index funds and ended up riding one of the longest bull markets ever. So now you've got a whole generation saying, just buy the S&P 500 and chill. And now Gen Z. They're entering a market where homes are expensive, debt is high. It's just a harder starting point overall. But they're also more informed than anyone before them. They know about ETFs, investing apps, side hustles, all of it. So instead of choosing one, they're trying to do both. So now you've got 4 generations, 4 totally different environments, 4 completely different strategies, and 4 groups all convinced they're right because every single one of them was right for their time. The problem is what happens next. Every generation wins under specific conditions, then passes down the playbook without the conditions that made it work in the first place. Boomers tell Gen Z, just buy a house, real estate always goes up. Cool, except you won't even qualify. Wages haven't kept up with prices. Mortgage rates are near 7%, and a starter home in most cities costs more than 10 years of the average salary. That just buy a house advice? It was built for a world with 3% mortgages, affordable prices, and a single income that could carry a family. That world is gone. Then millennials tell Gen Z, just buy index funds and chill. But they're saying that after riding the S&P from the bottom of 2008 all the way to record highs, with the Fed pumping trillions into the system the entire way. Gen Z is being told to buy in at the peak. Valuations stretched, rates high, stimulus over. That's not the same trade. That's buying the top of someone else's bull run. This is the mistake, every single time. Every generation hands down the strategy and leaves out the conditions. And that's why the debate itself, stocks versus real estate, is the wrong question. Because neither asset is the answer. The conditions are the answer. Real estate wasn't magic. It was cheap money meeting rising wages. Index funds weren't magic. They were zero-rate policy meeting a tech boom. Take away the conditions, and the strategy stops working. So what do you actually do? You stop copying what worked for someone else, and you start asking one question. What conditions am I investing into? Rates high or low? Valuations stretched or cheap? Wages rising or stuck? Are you early in a cycle or late? That's the real game. Boomers had their era, millennials had theirs. Gen Z has to figure out their own, and it's not going to look like either one. So stop asking which generation got it right. They all did, for their time. The real question is what time you're actually in, because that's the only thing that's ever mattered. So let's actually talk about right now. If you're Gen Z, you're looking at a market where homes are borderline unreachable. The S&P is sitting near all-time highs, and everyone older than you is telling you to do what they did. So what's the move? Do you stack cash and wait? Do you buy in anyway? Do you go into something nobody's talking about yet? If you're a millennial, you've ridden index funds for over a decade. Are you still all in? Or are you quietly starting to wonder if the next 10 years are going to look anything like the last 10? And if real estate is this unaffordable, is it actually out of the picture for the next generation? Or is this just the part of the cycle where everyone says it's over, right before it isn't? There's no clean answer here. That's the whole point. Every generation thought there was one, and every generation was wrong. So I want to hear from you. What are you actually doing with your money right now? Are you buying? Sitting in cash? Waiting for something to break? Drop it in the comments, because the conditions you're reading might be the ones someone else is missing.